When a New Yorker decides to leave New York, this is where they move to. If you're from the Bronx, you are definitely moving to Westchester or Putnam County. Anywhere above that, you just want to be Amish because they ain't shit over there, but farms and woods. If you're moving from the Bronx, you either go into Yonkers, White Plains, or whatever town that you find in Westchester or Putnam. If you're from Queens or Brooklyn, you are definitely moving to Long Island. Either Hicksville, Babylon, Freeport, you wish it was the East Hamptons. Or people from Brooklyn have been moving to Staten Island for some reason. If you're from like uptown Manhattan, you most likely are gonna move to Jersey, or you might move to the Bronx, or you might move to PA, like Philly or Reading, because that's where they always go. But if you decide to move states away, it's either gonna be Florida or Texas.
Everyone's moving, and everyone's miserable about it. New York to Georgia, LA to New York, America to Europe. 6 months later, they're either broke, complaining, or begging to come back. Here's the truth. Moving doesn't fix your problems. It just gives them a new address and different weather. Some people here plan smart. Others ran on vibes and regret. Welcome back to Mind Mirror. Let's see who made it and who's currently Googling how to break a lease.
We all know at least 5 people who be bitching and moaning that they live in Florida and how much they miss New York. Or sometimes they like to make us jealous. You have alligators and iguanas in your backyard. We not jealous. Or if they move to Texas, how great Texas is. Like, what color is that state again? I'm just kidding. But when they move, they're gonna come right back. Or they're just gonna bitch and moan about how much they miss New York.
This is accurate. Every New Yorker follows the same migration map like it's genetic. Bronx goes north, Brooklyn goes east, Manhattan scatters everywhere. Florida and Texas are the classic escape routes. But here's the problem. Most people move and immediately start the I miss New York group chat. Miss the pizza, miss the energy, miss complaining about the subway. If you're moving to save money or get space, smart. But if you think a new state will fix your life, you're going to be disappointed in Dallas too. Geography doesn't heal anything. It just changes the scenery while you figure yourself out.
It's been brought to my attention that there's some people from New York want to move down here to Georgia. Well, let me just give you some warnings before you make that trip down here, okay? Now, if you're one of them city folk that like to wear really nice shoes, meet your first enemy. This right here, Georgia red clay. If you get that on your shoes, it is not coming out. Georgia red clay will stain your shoes. It will stain your clothes. It will stain your skin and possibly your soul. Also, Georgia State Patrol can smell an out-of-state tag 50 miles away. So that means when you're driving through Tennessee, they know you're on your way. And they love to pull over out-of-state tags. Another thing, New Yorkers, you guys are used to the snow. Well, we're not so much down here. When the weatherman tells you it looks like it's going to snow, this whole state's going to shut down. And you're probably going to laugh at us because we do not know how to drive in it. Now, if you're down here in the summertime, the humidity is thicker than Jell-O. It ain't even the heat. It ain't even the sun blazing on you. It's that dadgum humidity. Speaking of summertime, that's when the snakes crawl. There are 47 species of snakes in the state of Georgia. You're guaranteed to see one of them. Guaranteed. Also, the back roads here in Georgia, it's not safe. It's not safe at all because you're going to hit a deer. You will hit a deer. There's no ifs and buts or maybes. You're going to hit a deer. At least once. They just jump right out. They don't care. The mosquitoes are bad. Mosquitoes are really bad. If you go down towards South Georgia, you might see some gators. Possibly some pythons. I would definitely try to stay in North Georgia. We also have these big old things. Whew. If you don't like pine needles, you might as well go ahead and get you a land that ain't got these pine trees on it, because you're going to have pine needles. There are some good things about Georgia. There's more good than there is bad. So come on down here if you want to. We'll welcome you. We have Southern hospitality.
Real talk, this guy's doing a public service. Because people romanticize the South until they meet reality. Georgia red clay is legitimately undefeated. It stains everything. Your shoes, your car, your soul, apparently. And he's not exaggerating. The snow thing? 1 inch shuts down the entire state. Schools close, grocery stores empty. It's chaos. But that's what happens when infrastructure isn't built for it. Here's the actual lesson. Every place has trade-offs. New York has rats and $18 salads. Georgia has snakes and humidity that feels like breathing hot soup. Neither is better. They're just different problems. So pick which problems you'd rather deal with. Would you rather fight for parking or fight off mosquitoes? That's the real question.
New York City is getting too expensive, so I'm moving to the suburbs. Here's every town that I'm touring, as well as a little insight on our budget and what we're looking for, because we are buying something. If you're new here, I have a new series and I take people along for tours of towns outside of the city for my next move. And we're looking at Tarrytown, Irvington, Scarsdale, Bronxville, Larchmont, Mamaroneck, Rye, Eastchester, and I think that is about it for now. And then of course, Greenwich, Connecticut is the dream, but I don't know if we're going to be able to afford anything there. We're looking to buy a condo, a townhouse, or an apartment. So I don't think a townhouse is feasible. In this market, it's nearly impossible to get something gorgeous for our budget. Right now, we're paying about $5,000 a month in rent to not own something, and we don't have a car. So essentially, our budget is to save a little bit of money with a car payment and taxes in mind. We are trying to keep our monthly payments under about $4,000 a month. Now that could be flexed a little bit, but the idea is to save some money and to get more for our money. We want to have a nice place, but we want to not live above our means, because ultimately we're going to buy a house one day and we're going to start a family. So stay tuned for more of the journey. We will be probably looking to buy something around spring, summer, fall, depending on timeline, closing timeline, all that good stuff.
Finally, someone with an actual plan. She's touring towns, she's got a budget, she knows her numbers. This is how you move, not on impulse, on strategy. Paying $5,000 monthly to own nothing is brutal. Moving to save money while building equity? That's smart wealth building. But suburbs come with trade-offs. Less walkability. You need a car. Social life requires effort. So you better actually like who you live with. She's thinking long-term. House, family, stability. That's maturity. Not chasing vibes, building a foundation.
I'm an American living in Denmark, and here are some things that I personally do differently in my life since moving. Number one, probably the biggest thing, is that I walk literally everywhere here. We had a car when we first moved here, but we haven't had one for almost a year now because we live in the city center, so we don't really need one. But when I lived in America, I'm not kidding you, I would get in my car and drive a block over to the gas station to go get snacks. Which now in retrospect is kind of embarrassing if I'm being honest. But I also have to say that in America, the infrastructure is not built for walking as much, and it's also obviously not as safe. Another thing is that I make pretty much everything from scratch. There are so many convenience foods in America that we don't have access to here in Denmark, which is great, and it's also taught me a lot. I've learned to make so many different things from scratch. Cheez-Its are like 4 ingredients. They're so easy to make and so much healthier than American Cheez-Its. But that's just one example of dozens and dozens. Probably the most impactful and the most important thing is that I have learned to slow down. I was such a hustler in America. I owned my own business and I literally worked 16-hour days, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Everywhere I went, I was in a rush, whether I was driving on the highway, going through the grocery store, in the checkout line. And here I know that it's not a race to be anywhere. I'm able to take my time, and there's such a focus on work-life balance here that those things are more realistic. Those are just a few of so many different things, so many things that have changed in my life since being here. If you guys have any questions about any of those, let me know. I would love to talk about it more.
This one hits different because she's not just talking about location. She's talking about life philosophy. Walking everywhere instead of driving, that's not just exercise, that's mental health. That's noticing your surroundings instead of being trapped in a metal box, stressing about traffic. Making food from scratch sounds exhausting until you realize American processed food has 30+ ingredients you can't pronounce. Cheez-Its are 4 ingredients when you make them yourself. 4. Check your pantry right now. You'll be horrified. But the real shift? Slowing down. America glorifies being busy. Exhausted equals productive. But that's not success. That's burnout with extra steps. Denmark taught her that time matters more than speed. Presence matters more than productivity. So if you're considering moving abroad, ask yourself, do you want more stuff or more time? Because you probably can't have both, and time always wins.
If you're thinking about moving from LA to New York like I did a year ago, don't do it. Please, don't make the same mistake that I did. I thought it was going to be fun to have a New York moment in my 20s, and it was not, because everything is difficult in New York City. I drove, and it was freaking terrible because there's nowhere to park, so you have to pay for a garage, and the traffic just sucks. The drivers suck. I'm sorry, but it's true. If you want to go anywhere, you have to take the subway, which is full of crazy people, unreliable. If you want to go to the grocery store, for instance, you have to walk there, and then you have to walk back to your house with all the groceries, so let's hope it's not raining, I guess. Everywhere you go, there's just no space for the amount of people that are there. Like in LA, you can find like a quiet park, a quiet something. In New York, you're just always surrounded by people. And I do love the buzz of the city. I thought that's one of the things I was gonna enjoy, but when there's no escaping it, like ever, you get tired of it pretty quickly. Lastly, but most importantly, you can find a way better apartment and have a way better quality of life in Los Angeles. It just doesn't even compare. You have your own car, your personal space. That gives you more freedom and more independence, which is something that I learned that I really value. So, I don't know. If you still want to move to New York City, I would definitely recommend spending a summer there for, a job, internship, or study or something to see how you feel about it, because everything that I mentioned, it becomes a lot very quick.
Not wrong. Expert level difficulty. LA to NYC is like switching from cruise control to manual transmission in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Driving in New York? That's self-inflicted suffering. It's bringing the wrong tool to the job. But here's what she actually learned. Freedom matters. LA gives you a car. That's independence. Your space. Your schedule. Your decompression zone. NYC? You're at the mercy of delays, crowds, noise, constantly. Some people thrive on that chaos. Others drown in it. The lesson? Know what you value. If personal space matters most, NYC will suffocate you. If energy and access matter most, Louisiana will bore you. Neither is wrong.
I don't know how well this is going to come out with all the background noise, but I thought I would give it a shot. So people ask me all the time what it's like moving from America to Portugal. And I thought I would give this example. I'm sitting on a park bench right near the river here. You can see behind me the bridge that's the view out my window. I'm just a couple blocks from home. So one day I come to sit down on this bench and I stop at the grocery store on the corner and I grab some snacks and a cider and I put in 10 euros and it spits out 5 euros in change, and I don't really think about it because that seems reasonable to me. And I walk a block or two away to sit down on this park bench. So I'm sitting on the park bench, just sort of enjoying my snack and a cider, and it's been about 10 minutes since I've left the shopping market right on the corner there. And a police car drives by, and the guy in the passenger seat points at me, and they do a U-turn and drive onto the train tracks right in front of me. And I'm like, oh my God, am I not allowed to drink a cider in public? Am I doing something wrong? And they pull right in front of me, and I walk over to the police car like, hey, what's going on? And the guy holds out 2 euros and says, you left 2 euros in the machine at the supermarket. I don't know what else to say about the difference between the US and Portugal that could sum it up so perfectly. I love it here.
This story is genuinely beautiful and kind of heartbreaking at the same time. Police returning 2 euros they tracked down? That's not just nice. That's a completely different social operating system. In America, we're conditioned for distrust. Lock everything. Watch everyone. Protect constantly. And yeah, sometimes that's necessary. But what if it's not? What if living in a low-trust society makes us anxious, isolated, and exhausted by default? Portugal isn't perfect. Nowhere is. But this moment shows what's possible when systems are built around community instead of suspicion. Pay attention to how your environment shapes you. If you're constantly defensive, constantly assuming the worst, constantly on edge, maybe it's not you, maybe it's the place. Life's too short to live somewhere that treats kindness like stupidity.
I just moved from New York to Toronto after living in New York for 3 years, and even though they're two major cities, there's a lot of differences between them. The difference is real estate market is very different. Getting an apartment in Toronto, very different from getting an apartment in New York. But the most interesting part about these apartments is that 90% of the apartments that I've seen or like my friends live in have storage units outside of the apartment unit. So you have your apartment and then on your floor you have a different storage area, room section where you just keep extra boxes and bags. You don't have to cram things in your apartment. What a concept. Second concept, they have this thing called bulk bar. Very interesting, 10 on 10 recommend. Almost like you want to try something but you don't want to commit to it. So you go to bulk bar and then you can buy as much or as little of that product as you want. You can get everything that you want under the sun. You have chocolate, coffee, cookies, gummies. I've been treating it like my personal candy store. It's been fun. Thing is that most people in Toronto my age are very into game nights, which I'm a big fan of. But most people here want to stay in than go out. I think that's just the vibe of people I'm attracting. But it's just interesting to meet people that kind of just want to chill and have like a good night in, and 90% of the time just want to watch a movie, chat, play a few games, call it a night. Bedtime is 11 p.m. Next thing is when it's cold, nobody gives a shit about how you look because it is cold. The only goal is to keep warm. In New York, you can look cute, you can put a cute jacket on, or do the whole thing. Here, you don't have like the bandwidth for that. It snowed last weekend and I went out on the streets looking like a little boy. Anyways, don't come at me in the comments, but these are just my month one observations of the differences between NYC and Toronto. A lot of differences, more than I would have anticipated.
Toronto sounds genuinely chill, like actually relaxed. Storage units outside your apartment? Genius. Why isn't that standard? Oh right, profit per square foot. Got it. But the cultural shift matters. New Yorkers go out constantly. Torontonians stay in, play games, go to bed at 11. And honestly, that sounds healthy. Big cities create this pressure to always be doing something. Brunch, drinks, networking, it's exhausting and expensive. Toronto's vibe won't work for everyone. If you need constant stimulation, it'll feel slow. If you want depth and community, it might be perfect. Pick your priority.
I just moved to Australia from New York, and I'm going to go through some of the biggest culture shocks that I've noticed so far. The first thing is that things are not that different here, and it honestly just feels like a parallel universe. Like, I live in Melbourne now. It feels so much like New York City until you look up and see a different store name, or till you see the cars on the other side of the road. Like, everything just feels flipped. Everything feels the same, but flipped. It literally feels like a parallel universe half the time. So many things are an honor system here, like getting gas. I went to the movies the other day. They don't even check your ticket. It's just an honor system. Like, they just trust that you're going to do the right thing. The trams here, they just trust that you're going to pay for them. Everything's an honor system. But they also check your bags a lot of the time. If you're going shopping, like, they will check your bags, and it's such a common thing. The coffee is so good, but everything closes by 3 p.m. latest, sometimes like 2 p.m. So if you don't go and get it before that, you're going to be getting your coffee at McDonald's later in the day. The alcohol here is so expensive, it makes me not want to drink. Also, this is only specific to certain places, but when I was in the Gold Coast specifically, they would take your picture as you walked into the club with an iPad to just have it documented who you are, to make sure that you're not getting too drunk, which is okay, great, but like different, very different. They don't have Tums here, like the medication. That was just something that really stuck out to me when I went to go buy them at the chemist warehouse. Their pharmacies are called chemists. I made a whole separate video on this, but their concert system is different. If you're going to a general admission concert, they'll have like 20 different doors, and your ticket will tell you what door you're supposed to enter. So it doesn't really matter what time you show up. A different door might just get lit in before you and be in front of you anyway. Their Sprite is called lemonade, and I still haven't figured out how to get like actual lemonade. Like American lemonade, I don't really know what the equivalent is. This one might be self-explanatory with the cars driving opposite on the opposite side of the roads, but like drive-thrus are opposite. I was standing inside of a restaurant and I saw the window, and like the car comes from this way, like it comes from the opposite direction, which makes sense because the passenger window is going to be on the opposite side, but like, I don't know, that was a culture shock to me. People also leave their dogs like everywhere. Like if you go to a grocery store, there'll be like a dog with their leash like tied to the pole outside while somebody goes inside and shops, and I'm just like, in America, you would never trust that. I just keep writing these down in my notes as they come to me, so I will definitely make a part 2.
Melbourne sounds like an alternate dimension, and I mean that positively. The honor system only works when trust exists at scale. Most people follow the rules. That's community integrity. The US could never pull that off. Coffee shops closing at 3 p.m. though. Actual tragedy. How do people function? But here's what she's describing. Different priorities. Melbourne values quality of life over convenience. Early closures mean people go home, see family, rest, recover. America worships 24/7 access. Everything, everywhere, always available. Then we wonder why everyone's burned out. Expensive alcohol is smart public health policy. Make it costly, consumption drops. Not fun, but effective. Dogs tied outside stores? That's trust. In most US cities, that dog's gone in 5 minutes. Melbourne's different. Not bad, just different. And if you adapt, you might actually prefer it.
Okay, so yes, I did move from New York to Melbourne, and I got a few comments like this, so I'm gonna actually explain. Basically, I was living outside of New York City. I was living close to New York City, and I love New York City, and I would go to New York City as often as I possibly could, but I was living in a suburb outside of New York City. The reason that I moved is because my daily life, I was living in a suburb, and I was bored. I was not happy. I was bored. There was not enough going on. And I was living for the highlights of going to New York City on my weekends or traveling. I still love to travel and I still want to visit so many more places. But moving to Australia is really just me trying to find a life that I live for my everyday life and I like my everyday life and that I'm not only living for the highlights. More reasons, I could never have afforded to live in New York City. I could literally only stay in my suburb town. I was never going to be able to afford to live in New York City, so I had to go. Also, the safety here is a lot better. I feel a lot safer. Really, I wanted to change. I had nothing holding me back to New York, and the older I get, the more commitments I'm going to have and the more things are going to hold me back. So if I wanted to go and travel the world and live somewhere else in my 20s, now is the time for me to do it. So here I am. That's how I got to Melbourne. That's how I got to Australia. That being said, though, I love New York so much and I do miss it. I really do miss it. New York City specifically, I miss it so much. Like, you guys don't even understand. Genuinely, New York City is my favorite place in the world, and I don't think anywhere is ever going to really be able to top that. I know I chose the farthest place possible, but I do love it here. Also, I don't know if you've heard, but America is not doing too hot right now, so Australia was looking really great to me.
If you are thinking of moving from New York City to Connecticut, I strongly recommend that you rent first. My husband and I moved to Greenwich about a year and a half ago now, and we made the decision that we were going to rent first. We have never once regretted this decision. And we did this for two reasons. One, renting allows you to renege on your decision to leave New York City a lot more easily. It allowed us to frame the decision to move to Greenwich as an experiment as opposed to a big hundreds of thousands of dollars sort of life change, which neither of us were quite ready for in that moment. And the second thing is, when you rent, you aren't committing to a specific town, a specific neighborhood quite yet. And that gives you the time to explore all of the different vibes, because as plain vanilla as people like to say Connecticut is, each of these neighborhoods are very different. It really is a different lifestyle living in these different places. And I think living here and having that deep sense before you buy is a huge thing. If you've gotten this far in the video and you are thinking about moving to Connecticut, I think my husband and I are giving up our lease. So if anyone is interested in a really nice 2-bedroom custom home to rent in Greenwich, my DMs are open.
It's been exactly 1 month since I moved to LA from New York City. Let's see what I think is different. First off, I think the fig tree problem is a lot worse in LA. Here, all my friends are singers, actors, writers, influencers, the like. In New York City, most of my friends just worked in finance or something adjacent to that, whereas here I feel like everyone's on their own creative journey. While this does mean most of my friends are vaguely unemployed, it does make me want to quit my job to pursue my dreams. Dreams I didn't know I had. People in LA are definitely nicer than New York City. I mean, in a surface level way, but how's it gonna be in a deep way in the grocery store? People are like saying, excuse me, from 10 feet away. Does not happen in New York City. I'm originally from Atlanta, so it definitely does happen in the South, so I'm used to it, but having to recalibrate as an adult is kind of interesting. I can't decide how I feel about walkable versus drivable city. I definitely miss the vibes that come with a walkable city. As I said, it feels like everyone's out and about and things are just happening to you all day long, good and bad. But I also love my car. It feels like a second home, and being able to drive to and from social events, it gives me an opportunity to decompress a bit and sing and listen to my music. I don't care what you say, listening to music in the car has to be like top 3 sonic experiences, with concert being number 1, number 2 car, number 3 really nice studio setup, AirPods last place, and that's what New York City has to offer. Final point, I feel like LA has more to do, but I do less. New York, there was less to do. It was more like going out to eat, going out to bars, maybe staying in someone's apartment. But I was doing like 10 things a day. I live in more central LA, so I've yet to even see the coastline. Definitely making more of a priority to go on hikes and go to the beach. But right now when I see people, it's kind of the same stuff I was doing in New York, going out getting a meal or chilling at their house. Out of the two, I can't really say which one I prefer yet. Which one do you prefer?
Good morning. I did a couple of update videos this morning. I've not edited it yet. I was busy getting checked out of our hotel room. Quite the story last night. Got 1, 2, 3 very unhappy babies, but they're comfortable and they're safe. They beg to differ. For those of you that donated the other day for that gas money, just know that you kept us really safe last night. That money ended up at a time where the blessing was truly needed, and you'll hear the story later. I'm gonna get these guys to Florida now. We're in Slidell, Louisiana at this time. It's 12:46. I asked for a little bit of a late checkout. We didn't get here until super duper late. I think by the time we got here, it was almost 2. It's a journey. We are blessed. We're safe. Thank you for being the community that believes in me and walks beside me and continues to tell me that I matter and I deserve to be here. We appreciate you. We will let you know when we get to Florida. I'll post the updated videos later. Right now, I just need to get on the road. I love y'all so much.
So what's the takeaway? Moving is easy. Moving smart takes actual thought. Some of these people had plans, research, budgets. They knew what they were trading and why. Others just ran. No strategy, no backup. Just vibes and a one-way ticket. Here's the truth. Nowhere is perfect. Georgia has snakes. NYC has rats. Denmark has dark winters. Melbourne has $20 beers. The question isn't where's perfect. It's where do I actually thrive? You can have the best apartment in the best city and still be miserable if it doesn't match who you are. So before you pack everything and move across the world, ask yourself, what am I actually looking for? And will a different location give it to me? If yes, go. If no, fix what's broken first. Drop a comment. Best or worst move you ever made. Hit like, share with someone planning a move, and subscribe for more reality. Because sometimes the best move is staying put and building something real where you are. See you next time.